The Dead Sea has been getting smaller and smaller for years and at an unprecedented rate, puzzling activists and scientists who want to save it. In fact, it could be completely gone by 2050. I-24 News' Jesse Satin joined two activists who are documenting the changes caused by quickly receding waters. The Dead Sea is one of Israel's greatest national treasures, and these guys are fighting to keep it alive. Let's dive in.
It's one of the most unique places on Earth. It sits at the lowest elevation on land. The mud and the air have healing properties, and the water makes you float like a feather. Its landscape is bursting with sparkling details that give the impression that you are on an alien planet, and it is disappearing. Three main factors contribute to the constantly receding shoreline of the Dead Sea. The region receives less than 2 inches of rainfall annually, and temperatures in the summer top 100 degrees, resulting in natural evaporation. This evaporation is expedited by cosmetic factories, which pump water into evaporation pools to extract minerals. And upstream, the vast majority of the Jordan River, the main source feeding the Dead Sea, has been diverted for human use in Syria, Jordan, and Israel. The water level is dropping by more than 1 meter per year, and if conditions remain as they are, experts warn that by 2050, only a small pool will remain, and it could even disappear entirely. But activists like Noam Bedein and Jackie Ben Zaken aren't letting the Dead Sea go without a fight. With a camera lens and a boat, they strive to educate the world about why the Dead Sea is drying up and the effect that it has on the region. Jackie takes tourists and locals on educational tours around the Dead Sea by boat. From that vantage point, numerous effects from the receding water become glaringly apparent.
The sea is disappearing from week to week. You see it. You know, you see where the coastline is, where the shore is now, you see it later. When I sail with the boat, suddenly you have a low ground or a reef sticking out from the middle of the water that wasn't there 3 days ago. So, of course, you see it. You see it daily, daily, daily. And it's not nice, you know, you hear about another sinkhole, another, you know, it's moving, it's very dynamic.
Noam tours the Dead Sea twice a month with Jackie, capturing the rapidly changing landscape. He then takes his visual documentation abroad to raise international awareness.
This salt formation behind us, a year ago, was almost completely underwater. So coming out here and seeing these formations, how it's sticking out of the water over a period of time, gives us the tools to educate and to show people what's happening, the Dead Sea and the environment changes that are happening here very fast.
Once people have a chance to see these changes firsthand, they too recognize the dangers that the Dead Sea faces.
It would be a tragedy if this place were to be no more. It would be a tragedy for it to disappear and other people couldn't come and see what it has to offer. It's got a beauty unto itself, and people should see it. They should understand it. They should preserve it. It should be a national treasure that people come and visit, just for the beauty's sake alone, because it's amazing.
The Dead Sea may be dying, but there's still time to breathe life back into it. Jesse Satin, I-24 News.
Now you can catch a special I-24 News program about the deterioration of the Dead Sea on our website, i24news.tv. Now, Noam Bedein is the founder of The Dead Sea Story, a photojournalist and an international speaker who has made it his mission to spread awareness about the deteriorating Dead Sea. Noam, thank you so much for joining me in studio today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, explain to me this process of documentation and the equipment you're using. How do you go about this?
Well, for the past 20 months, I've been taking out exclusive boat excursions on the Dead Sea. There's only one boat today. And having the access to the northern shores of the Dead Sea, these exotic salt beaches, I'm able to see from up close, like never before, the Dead Sea, both the geological phenomena, as well as returning to the same locations and having the time-lapse of the places and showing the dramatic changes in no time. So
you're using still photographs as well as 360-degree videos. Tell us about the equipment that you use.
That's correct. I learned from CNN, basically, who came on our boat excursion in September, and they did a whole virtual reality on the Dead Sea. I learned from the best how to basically go into the whole entertainment aspect of of educating with 360-degree angle, and this is my future project of building a documentary for the next 3 years of documenting the Dead Sea like never before.
Wow.
With a purpose to inspire a whole new generation, especially on college campuses. Thank you to the pro media advocacy organization Camera, who brought me to the campuses to present this and to inspire people of the lowest place on earth.
Now, I want to talk about the international awareness in just 1 second, but first, tell us what changes have you seen through your documentation?
Well, the fact we get very close to the formations themselves, we are able to see all these salt formations, if it's salt chimneys, salt diamonds, salt stalactites, and seeing all these new layers of salt of shores that are appearing due to the receding of the water level is just a magical experience. And this environment contrast of one hand, the water is receding, like in the lowest recorded history. On the other hand, experiencing this geological phenomenon, understanding why this place is considered one of the top 10 wonders of the world, you understand why when you go onto this boat.
And I mean, it's clear not just Israelis are interested in this issue. It's very international. There's a lot of interest internationally. How does the international awareness look to you?
Well, of course, the fact that the people around the world, they come to the Dead Sea to be healed, and the fact that this place has touched many people around the world globally, this is our challenge today, is to create a global supporting community behind this cause, looking to the future for healing, for saving the Dead Sea.
So you'd say this is sort of a PR project to save the Dead Sea?
For sure. We call it environment advocacy and education. That's our challenge today, is to educate the next generation with environment advocacy tools.
Now, what do you see ahead for this, beauty of the world? Is it going to disappear? Are we going to see it build back up? What's going to happen?
It's a good point. I'll be honest, we have to have a lot of patience over here. We're talking about the next generation. My young, two-year-old is not going to have a Dead Sea in his growth when he's going to be an adult. And it's our challenge today is to create awareness, is to build a plan for the next decade with a purpose to also focus on the roots of the problem. Not many people understand that the fact that we have to, in order to save the Dead Sea, we have to look up north. North is meaning restoring the Sea of Galilee, the Kinneret, what's so called, the Jordan River. That's basically the focus, is restoring the historical flow. And that's the focus for us looking into the future and the purpose of our advocacy.
Well, on a practical level, what's sort of the most important thing that experts have to look at to begin this process of saving it?
I'll be honest, overall, the Dead Sea is a whole Middle East politics on its own. I mean, we're talking about Jordan on the other side. They have no drinking water whatsoever. The solutions for the Dead Sea, we're talking about the biggest projects in the world of desalinating water. Being involved with the Dead Sea Project is being involved with Israel as a global leading country in the world of water technology. And the project to save the Dead Sea is going to be the biggest project in the world for desalinating water, which brings humanity one step closer to turning the oceans into fresh, sweet water for many nations and countries around the world.
Wow. Now, we don't have much time, but tell us quickly about this documentary that you're working on.
So right now, I've been the first one to document twice a month now for the past few months in virtual reality. I capture these images, these most amazing shores that we have access to because of this boat. And eventually, our purpose in the next couple of years is to keep on documenting, showing that the environment changes, and reaching up to the Sea of Galilee and to the Jordan River, making a worldwide international documentary and shown in planetarium domes, and to inspire a whole new generation, hundreds of millions of people about this place.
It's a really inspiring project. Noam Bedein, thank you so much for being with us today. Really appreciate it.